Visit right now with Wyoming quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator Brent Vigen joins us live here on Laramie Live on KOWB. Coach, good morning. How are you on a Thursday?
I'm doing well. Yeah, we're getting excited to get back out in the field here on Monday, so that's always a good thing.
I appreciate your time this morning. I know it's very fleeting. You guys are very busy. A lot to get to here. Talk a little bit about what you're looking for the most, and you know, kind of maybe overall goals of the Cowboys here during spring football. Your guys' second season at the helm.
Well, I think generally with spring ball, you're always looking for development. Generally, you know, you're looking to see what young guys that haven't been on the field can do. You're looking at the ability to maybe experiment with a thing or two, but mostly just see what guys can play. You know, what guys are going to be able to help us in the fall, and you know, I've been really encouraged, or we all have, with the progress our guys have made in the weight room and out doing drills. You know, without footballs and those type of things. But now you throw the game into it, the blocking, the tackling, the throwing, the catching, all that stuff, and that's where you know, guys have a chance to stand out. And you know, so we've been really encouraged about the progress, but now it's time to show it for real, I guess.
You guys adjusted some things that you looked at from a recruiting standpoint after going through your first year here at Wyoming, and especially in the Mountain West. I remember Coach Bull saying, hey, we kind of know what we needed to adjust. Do you guys have an idea of what maybe you kind of need to tweak here as you go into your second season, and knowing what to expect now here with the Cowboys and you know, the type of competition we're going to face in the Mountain West?
Well, you definitely, after going through it a year, you have a sense for the schemes that people are playing, those schemes that you're going to see, you know, every year, certainly with the other teams in the Mountain Division, and then the switch up that's going to occur, you know, in the other divisions. So I think we got a better idea of what we need to do schematically on both sides of the ball to match up. You know, it's certainly a speed league, and I think that would be speaking to what Coach was talking about in recruiting, you know, particularly on the defensive side. I know offensively for us, you know, I think it's more about our guys continuing to learn what we're doing. You know, I think that's the way we have to be, have the mindset we have to have on offense. And, you know, we showed flashes at times last year of what we want to become, but the consistency wasn't there. So I'm sure, I mean, we're all hopeful with a year under our belt, not only as coaches, but probably more so as players, that our understanding of what we're trying to do is moving in the right direction, and I'm certain it is. And you know, I know this second spring will be so much different than last spring. That first spring, you're just trying to get lined up and know everybody's names and all that kind of stuff. You know, so those things are kind of in the past, and now it's building off that experience of both last season and, you know, last spring and all that, and taking that next step forward, really with an understanding of what we're trying to do.
This is Laramie Live on KOWB, and we're visiting with Wyoming offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Brent Vigen. The Cowboys open spring practice on Monday. For you, another quarterback position. I know you deal with the quarterbacks directly, Coach, and obviously Colby Kirkgard stepped up, filled that role last season. What are we looking at with the quarterback battle here as we head into spring?
Well, you know, it's a wide open competition, and that's what you want as far as that word competition. I think anytime, you know, it's kind of a one-man race, so to speak, and I don't think anybody really benefits from that. You don't have the depth you need, and that one person doesn't get pushed. And I do think we have, you know, 5 guys on the roster that are hungry. You know, Cameron Kaufman is going to be a senior. He has the most experience at the collegiate level, having played, you know, really almost a full season in the Big Ten at Indiana. So we brought Cameron in here with the thought that, you know, he'd redshirt a year and he'd be able to compete for the spot at this point in time, and he's done everything to lead us to believe that that's his mindset, and he's, you know, he's obviously got a sense of urgency with 1 year left, and I've been really pleased with what he's done. Aaron Young's been in our system the longest, having come here last January, and Aaron's had his ups and downs. I think there was really high expectations, unfairly probably put on him last spring, and he struggled a little bit, and you know, he certainly improved in the fall. So he's there and has 3 years remaining, and then we have, you know, 3 younger guys that are extremely hungry, and you know, between Austin Fort and Nick Smith, two redshirt freshmen, both bring a lot of ability, talent, you know. size, all those things you're looking for, both intelligent kids. I know they're ready to battle. And then Josh Allen, who we brought in just this past January, he's got that season of junior college under his belt. So he does have a little college experience, and Josh to this point has done some good things. And, it all come down to getting out there on the field and really seeing who's going to put our offense and our team in best positions to win football games.
And we're talking with Brent Vigen, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach at the University of Wyoming here at Laramie Live on KOWB, and I greatly appreciate your time. Take us through the rest of the offensive side of the football. I know you've got some experience back up front, though Rafe Kiley will be a little bit limited at the center position this spring, but you do bring back 3 starters there. Lost a couple of guys, just kind of, lost into a little fruition there as guys decide to leave the program for whatever reason. And then you got a 1-2 punch that's coming back in the backfield. You got some guys coming back a receiver, but you got to replace the top targets there. What does the rest of the offense kind of shape up, Coach?
Well, it always is going to start up front for us, and I think in Chase Roulier and Ryan Cummings, we probably at least Ryan played the last half of the year. We returned our two most productive guys. Ryan was a true freshman playing, so there was some ups and downs, but we were really pleased with what he gave us, that last half of the season. And Chase really, through the season, was by far our most consistent guy. I know Rafe, being out for part of spring, hurts his progress, but we got some guys that are, younger guys that have taking those strides as far as figuring things out. Names people haven't heard of, and Taylor Nestis and Curtis Tournament are going to give us some different athleticism and at the tackle position, and we're certainly counting on those guys to come out and compete. Charlie Winfrey's another young guy that hasn't seen a lot of time, but we're anxious to see what he can do. So there's guys in there, and we're excited about the youth. I guess the athleticism is moving in the right direction, and we're not as deep as we need to be. That's probably the issue more so than anything. But we feel like we got some quality guys that compete at the top, tight end wise and fullback wise. We've worked from the inside out. Those 2 positions continue to evolve. We lose one of the 5 guys that played last year, so we return J.D. Hollister. I guess we lose 2 because Eric Nazach has moved over to the defensive side, but he's going to help us out in another way. We have two young tight ends in Tyree Mayfield and Grant Lewis, who showed a lot of promise in the fall, and we're really anxious to see what they can do. And at the fullback spot, Drew Van Manen was very solid for us last year, and we'll just look for continued improvement out of him. And then Jordan Ellis was a young man who came in shoot the week of our first game and provided depth, but beyond providing depth this next season, we need him to be a very productive player. You mentioned tailback. That is certainly the strength. I think when you look at Sean Wick and Brian Hill and what they were able to do last year, enough that we were able to move DJ May over to defense. And, those 2 guys are different, but they both proved in our league that they can be very, very productive. And we'll look, as their comfort level, grows within this offense, I think they can certainly show signs of improvement moving forward. And we've got a couple, other guys. I know we saw a little bit of Josh Chascott last year, and he's a young guy that's continuing to move along. And then Nico Evans is a young man that redshirted that does provide us probably an extra gear, and I'm excited to see what Nico can do this spring.
Okay.
Receiver-wise, we did lose our top targets in Riffred and Claiborne, but I think the next 2 guys, did a lot of good things for us, and Jake Mulhart and Tanner Gentry, and those 2 will just have to take that next step forward. It's the next. We lost 4 other guys that provided some depth as well, so it was 6 total receivers that graduated. So, where the 3rd and 4th and 5th guys are going to come from, that's a little bit of a work in progress. I know there's a few guys on campus in Tanner Simpson and Joe Parker coming in as a true freshman from Cherry Creek early, I think puts him in position to potentially do some things for us. And that was our on offense, at least the position we brought. We're going to bring the most numbers in come this summer, and those guys will probably be counted on to add some depth there as well.
Yeah, and of course, you mentioned some players changing positions, some guys that are no longer part of the team. I mean, that's just kind of the way college football is nowadays. What is Coach Stannard looking at real briefly on his side? Because I know he's got, 9 senior starters to replace. He's got a larger project, I think, than you do.
Yeah, you know what? And I think that project changed, obviously, as the season went along because, unfortunately, so many of those seniors weren't there at the end. So it did press some young guys into playing time, and although that might have been a little bit of a struggle as the season wound down, those guys will be that much better off for it. I think the same thing goes over there. Another year of being comfortable in the system is a great thing. I know the one thing that I look at on the defense is generally, your success, your ability to really do things starts with how you play up front, and that's the one spot where we do return most of our guys. We lose Patrick Mertens out of that, and a couple other guys went down with injury as the season went along, so it pressed some guys into some playing time, and I think that it's a work in progress for sure. But I know that the more a kid knows, the more a unit knows, the faster they can play. And that year of experience, whether a guy was out in the field a whole lot or not, on both sides of the ball, he's been in this system, he's been in this, he's been going through the things that we want him to go through, learning how to play the way we want to. I think that collective growth will show us more than anything as far as improvement goes.
All right, with that, Coach, I know you're busy. You got some things to move on, and I will leave it at that. Good luck this spring, and get after them on Monday. We appreciate the time this morning.
All right, appreciate having me on.